What is up guys, it's Cal, and in this video I'm going to talk with you all about quests. Not just any quests, but epic quests. Epic adventures that were in the game that led to some worthwhile rewards. Now both the epic quests I'll be talking about in this video took place during vanilla, and then were promptly removed with the release of Cataclysm. Always ruining the fun. Especially with the announcement of classic servers, whenever those end up happening, these quests are something to look forward to when you embark on your journey into vanilla WoW. Sadly, not every class had some super amazing quest chain, but I picked two of my favorites from two different classes to talk about, so let's get started. The first one worth mentioning is the priest quest chain that led to the epic staff reward, Benediction. Now this quest started from a unique priest trinket called the Eye of Divinity, which dropped off Major Domo Executus in the Molten Core raid. Now back in vanilla, Major Domo was already a hassle to spawn anyway. You needed someone in your group to complete a series of quests from Duke Hydraxis in Ashara. The final quest of that series is called Hands of the Enemy, which require you to kill Lucifron, Gannis, Shazra, and Sulfuron in Molten Core and retrieve their hands. Then after you finish those quests, you have to get honor with the Hydraxian Waterlords from just killing enemies in Molten Core. And then you can get this vial called the Aqua Quintessence. This vial was used to douse runes located by Magmadar, Gannis, Gar, Baron Geddon, Shazra, Sulfuron, and Goldmag. So all the bosses except Ragnaros and Lucifron, because Lucifron didn't need to be killed. Then finally Major Domo Executus would spawn, and he was beyond difficult to fight. Pair with the fact that Molten Core was a 40-man raid, so you needed to get 40 more or less competent people to defeat him. And to defeat him, you had to kill all of his guards around him, not him specifically. Then after you killed him, he had a 40% chance to drop the Eye of Divinity, and it would only drop for one priest, so you had to hope to get it. These requirements to spawn Major Domo were removed with the release of Wrath of the Lich King, and those who actually acquired the Aqua Quintessence were given a feat of strength. Now on to the Benediction quest chain. Once you acquired the Eye of Divinity trinket, you would make your way to either Blasted Lands or Winter Spring to kill demons. The demons had a 1% chance to drop a bind on equipped trinket called the Eye of Shadow. Now Doomlord Kazak was once a world boss in the Blasted Lands, and during his stay there he actually had a 100% chance to drop the Eye of Shadow, but then when Kazak made his migration to Hellfire Peninsula and Burning Crusade, he no longer dropped the trinket. But as mentioned before, it was bind on equip, so people could sell it and trade it around as they wished. Now after you acquired both trinkets, you'd equip both of them and make your way to Eastern Plaguelands to find the quest giver, Eris Havenfire. She was located in the north near the Stratholme dungeon, and you could only see her if you had both trinkets equipped. The quest she offers is called the Balance of Light and Shadow. Her quest text insinuates that she was once a priest in your position that tried to save the peasants fleeing from Stratholme, but she failed to do so. Therefore, you must carry on her legacy. So for this quest you had to save 50 peasants before 15 of them were slain. Talking to her again would initiate a gauntlet with various peasants fleeing the area that you must save. Now there was another aspect to this gauntlet, and that is that you had to do it alone. No one could help you, or all the peasants would despawn and a demon named the Cleaner would be summoned and start killing everyone in the area, including you. As you can tell, Blizzard didn't really have the phasing technology back then. That, or they wanted to watch your face get mauled by a demon. So with that being said, there were definitely people who could troll in this aspect, making it that much more difficult for priests to acquire this epic staff. But how the quest goes is that it required a mix of healing and damage. Therefore, the best strategy for this was to do it as discipline with points into holy. Friendly peasants would spawn and would slowly move to a beacon of light. These peasants would have a plague debuff that would damage them and had to be dispelled off. There was various levels of this debuff, so you had to make sure you dispelled the ones that were taking the most damage first, since Dispel had a longer cooldown back then. There were also skeleton NPCs that would spawn and attack your peasants that you had to kill off, anywhere from warrior skeletons that would attack them at melee range to archer skeletons that would of course attack them from range. You had to repeat this process until 50 of them made it across before 15 of them died. This was definitely one of the most difficult tasks that priests went through during the early days of World of Warcraft. But once you completed this challenge, you were given the Splinter of Nordrazil, which the flavor text reads, a tiny fragment of the world tree. For those that might be unaware, Nordrazil was the original world tree, which can be found atop Mount Tajal. But with the Splinter of Nordrazil, you then used it in conjunction with the Eye of Divinity and the Eye of Shadow to form Benediction, and Benediction had a use effect that turned it into Anathema. The Benediction staff was aimed more towards healing priests, whereas Anathema was aimed more towards shadow priests. Sadly, this quest chain was removed with the release of Cataclysm. Hunters also got the epic quest treatment once they reached max level, and similar to priests, it was definitely not easy. In fact, you could easily argue that it was even more difficult than the priest chain, but that doesn't take away from the fact that acquiring Benediction was definitely a difficult feat in itself. The hunter epic is called Rhok'delar Longbow of the Ancient Keeper, and the quest also comes with an epic staff called Rhok'delar Staff of the Ancient Keeper. This quest started from killing the same boss in Molten Core, Major Domo Executus, which as explained earlier wasn't the easiest boss to summon in the first place. Once you killed him, he would have a chance to drop only one ancient petrified leaf. Therefore, just like the Eye of Divinity, only one hunter could loot it per run. Now this ancient leaf definitely had a mysterious quality to it, because the objective for the quest read, find the owner of the ancient petrified leaf, good luck, it's a big world. And the rest of the quest text didn't really give any major clue as to where to take this leaf. There was no quest helper baked into WoW back then like there is today, and Wowhead also didn't become a thing until a bit before Burning Crusade came out. So people had to resort to using Thoughtbot for their questing help, but that wasn't really much of a help either. Finally, the quest NPC was found to be an ancient protector in Felwood by the name of Vartrus the Ancient, and he could only be seen if you had the ancient petrified leaf in your inventory. After you turned the leaf into him, the other two ancient trees in Felwood, Hastat the Ancient and Stoma the Ancient, would give you a quest each along with Vartrus the Ancient. Hastat the Ancient gave you a quest called Ancient Sinew Wrapped Lamina. For this quest you had to retrieve a mature blue dragon sinew. This had a 1% drop chance from any blue elite dragonkin in Winter Spring and had a 100% drop chance from the world boss Azure Ghost in Ashara. You might start seeing some parallels to the Benediction quest chain. After turning this quest in, you were rewarded the Ancient Sinew Wrapped Lamina, which was an 18 slot quiver. It was then later turned into a 24 slot bag in Kata. Then Stoma the Ancient had a quest for you called a Proper Sting. This one was easy. You just had to adventure to Burning Steps and kill any black dragonkin to acquire the mature black dragon sinew. This was a 100% drop chance as long as you were on the quest. Turning in this quest just gave you an enchanted black dragon sinew which was needed to construct Rhok'delar. Now for the most difficult part of the quest. Vartrus would give you a quest called Staff of the Ancients. This quest had you defeat 4 incredibly difficult demons across Azeroth solo, so no one could help you, and you could not even use your pet. Now most of these demons you had to kite, or else they would maul your face in and you would die. If at any point anyone tried to help you attack the demon, or if your pet was in its aggro table at all, the demon would flee, not come back for a couple hours, and then the cleaner would come in, and we all know what he's capable of. Now each of these demons did have a weakness to a certain hunter ability however, so let's go over each of these demons. First up is a troll located in Ungro Crater named Simone the Inconspicuous. She also had a pet. She's a neutral NPC to anyone that runs by her. As long as no one else is near her, a hunter, on the quest obviously, could walk up to her, challenge her to show her true form. She would then turn into a succubus named Simone the Seductress, along with her pet, Precious, and then you could engage her. This was known as one of the easier fights of the 4, but consumables like food, potions, and even elixirs of Dragon Slaying, which were pretty much a must because those elixirs boosted your DPS against these demons by a whole lot. Now her abilities are that she reduces your range attack bar by 1400, and she casts a lightning bolt which deals a lot of nature damage. So with this being said, there's a few different strategies I've seen people do. Most people would start the fight by ice trapping her and then kiting her pet around and then killing it. Her pet just does melee attacks and you can just outrun them with Aspect of the Cheetah. Then as long as no one got near her to make her despawn, she'll still be in the same place. Then after this you could run in and melee her to death, since your range attack power will be really low from her Temptress Kiss ability. If you do this strategy, then you want to have Aspect of the Wild up, which reduces your nature damage taken from Lightning Bolt. The other method, which I've seen more commonly used, is kiting her around. This method had to use Aspect of the Cheetah so you could run faster than her, then use Viper Sting whenever she casted her Lightning Bolt and it would silence her. You had to do all of this while not aggroing any of the thousands of dinos in Ungro Crater. So many hunters would have a friend that would kind of hover around the hunter, not getting into combat with Simone, but would clear dinos around the hunter as they kite. Then once she's dead, you would loot her head off of her dead corpse. Next up is a Tauren named Artorias the Amiable, located in Winter Spring. Once you approach him with no one else around and challenge him, he'll turn into a demon named Artorias the Doombringer. This was a strict kiting fight. His Demonic Frenzy ability increased his damage by 300%, which could be dispelled by Tranquilizing Shot, but wasn't needed. He also had an ability called Demonic Doom, which would do a lot of damage to you if you were within 30 yards of him, so the idea was to stay at max range of 40 yards at all times, so he wouldn't apply that debuff to you. If by chance he did get within 30 yards of you at any point, then quickly hit him with the Tranquilizing Shot, so his Demonic Doom won't hurt you for much. Now you wanted to have Aspect of the Cheetah on to outrun him, however he did run faster than you while going uphill, oddly enough, so use Concussive Shot on him when necessary. Keep kiting him, alternating between Arcane Shot and Serpent Sting, and then he'll die. You then loot his head. Franklin the Friendly was a human NPC located in Burning Steps. Once a hunter challenged him while no one else was around, he would turn into a demon named Clinfran the Crazed. This demon would enrage every 15 seconds, which would just obliterate you if you were in melee range. His enrage also removed all poison and magic effects, so things like Immolation Trap and Scorpion Sting, but not Wing Clip. However, Scorpion Sting could be used to remove his enrage effect and reduce his melee damage to 1. The way to kill this guy is to engage him with Aspect of the Monkey on, which increased your dodge chance, use Scorpion Sting to remove his first enrage, and then melee him so he'll do very little damage to you. Every time he's about to enrage, you want to use Wing Clip to slow him down, back up, and Scorpion Sting his enrage off. Then go back to meleeing him again, until he dies, at which point you loot his head. Then finally, what many to believe was the hardest demon is Nelson the Nice, a gnome. He's located in Silithus, and once challenged, he'll turn into Solinar the Slayer. Now, consumables like food and even shadow protection potions were a must for this guy. When he spawned, he would be big and red, so what most hunters would do is throw a frost trap on him, which dispelled his initial enrage effect, and then they would feign death, which would reset him, but not reset his enrage effect. This guy had a tendency to hit the hunter with a long-lasting deadly fear. If you had a shadow protection potion, it would cushion the damage of the fear. Many hunters would actually duel a warlock prior to the encounter and have the warlock use Curse of Recklessness rank 1 on them, which would reduce their armor slightly, but also would make them immune to fears for 2 minutes. But it could only be applied once before the pull, because if applied again, then the warlock would be on Solinar's aggro table and he would despawn. You wanted to use Aspect of the Hawk for the extra damage boost for your range attacks, because every time you use a Wing Clip on him, as long as the Wing Clip was at least rank 3, it would root him in place for 30 seconds. He would then spawn little bugs called Creeping Dooms, which could overwhelm you if not dealt with. Use volley or explosives like some dynamite you might have to take them out. Keep this up and Solinar the Slayer would be dead and you'd get your 4th head. Remember, all of this had to be done without anyone else attacking these demons, and you could not have a pet out. Also, when Snake Trap was introduced in Wrath of the Lich King, the snakes would despawn the demons as well. So that was fun. Once you retrieved all 4 demon heads, you would bring them back to Vatros the Ancient, and he would give you the Ancient Rune Etched Staff, which you could fuse with the enchanted Black Dragon Sinew to create Rhok'delar Longbow of the Ancient Keepers. You could then talk to Vatros again, and he would give you a staff called Rhok'delar, Staff of the Ancient Keepers. Both were amazing weapons at level 60 and were essentially legendaries for hunters, but without the legendary color text. Sadly, this quest chain was removed with the release of Cataclysm. But now with the release of Legion, for any hunter who got Rhok'delar or any priest who got Benediction, they were awarded a feat of strength. And that's it. Those are 2 of the most epic quests back in the day that led to some pretty epic rewards. I wish there were more quests like this, some really difficult, expensive type quests that only a handful of people would get done. If there were any amazing quests from vanilla that you remembered, you can leave in the comments below. I may do a part 2 of this, also I may have already recorded the audio for the Paladin and Warlock mount quest chains, just saying. Also, all the videos used here, their links will be in the description. If you guys like this video, you can leave a like on it, sub to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.